Hello, my name is Tanika Mann of Tanika Mann and Associates, and today we are going to talk about the importance of completing your annual registration. So, if you aren't aware, if you have an LLC or a corporation, and in some cases, if you are a sole proprietor, you probably have a requirement with the state to complete an annual registration. Your annual registration is really simple. It's usually just the state asking you to confirm your name, your address, your phone number, your registered agent, and in a lot of cases, they also will ask you to pay a fee along with submitting your annual registration. So I know for sure that sometimes this requirement gets swept under the rug. You may think that it's not important, but it actually is. So I know that when I was early in my entrepreneurship journey, I never paid this fee, like at all. I didn't think about the consequences of it or none of that. However, now that I'm a little bit more wise about this, I can help other people. So make sure that you are completing this fee. If you haven't received one already, you will probably receive some type of notification in the mail. It's different. The due date is different by each state, but usually every year you'll have to pay this fee and verify this information. So you'll want to go to your state corporation commission website, log into your account, and you should see somewhere where you can upload your annual registration, or they'll ask you or tell you when it's due. Now, the fee for this, it varies based upon the state. I've seen the fees as low as like $25. I've seen the fees as high as $200 and beyond. So it really just depends on what state you're in and also what entity you have. In some states, the annual fee for corporations is lower than LLCs, and it could be vice versa. It just, like I said, depends on which state you're in. Also, just a side note, when you are doing your business planning and your research for forming your entity, you will want to take into account how much this fee is, because it is a fee that you have to pay yearly. If you don't pay it yearly, you can run into some consequences, which I'm going to discuss shortly. So make sure you include this information into your planning. Just so you know, you don't necessarily have to form your business in the state that you actually live in or are domiciled in, but that is a business strategy that you should talk to a business advisor with, or consult with someone if you don't understand that, because that could be a part of a good strategy in terms of the profitability of your company. Nonetheless, let's talk about some of the consequences to not paying your annual registration. So your annual registration will dictate if your business if you don't comply with this requirement, you are at risk of your business being inactive. And you don't want your business to be inactive, because in some states, your business being inactive basically says you are not legally authorized to do business in this state. Also, all somebody has to do is look up your business. They may not be able to see your name, but they can look up the business itself. And if it's shown that it's inactive, that may cause you to lose out on some type of financing, or maybe you're applying for a grant or some type of partnership, and they're looking to see if your business is active, and it's not. So it doesn't look good for you, because it doesn't show it. Depending on how somebody looks at it, they can say, okay, this person is lying. Say you're trying to go get financing, and the bank looks up to see if your business is active, and it's shown that it's inactive. That doesn't look good for you. In some cases, some people may extend grace to you and say, hey, you need to just go get your business updated. But some people, that could be a done deal. You just never know. Your business being active or inactive is also connected to your business being in good standing, or you receiving a certificate of existence or a certificate of good standing. Like I said before, every state has their own thing going on, but that is very much like a real thing. If you need to prove your business existence and current status to fulfill some type of outside transaction, they may say, hey, provide us with a statement of good standing or a statement of existence with the state. And I switch up the words because it's, like I said a million times, it's different based upon the state that you're in. But nonetheless, this one requirement, this one fee can cause your business to be inactive. And in some cases, some extreme cases, if you don't pay this fee, your business can actually just be straight up shut down. From what I've read, the police just come knock on your business doors and shut you down until you are, up with all of your requirements. But of course, depends what state you're in, depends which industry you're in. And even though I'm talking about annual registrations, this is the same thing in terms of business licenses. This is the same thing if you have like a franchise tax requirement. If you don't stay current with your business licensure and registrations and fees that you owe to the state, they can shut you down. They can make you inactive. They can do lots of things. Another thing that you need to be mindful of in terms of not paying your annual registration and completing the requirement for that is that you will lose your liability protection. So you know that when you have an LLC or a corporation, those entities sit outside of the individual that formed them. For the purposes being, if I sue you and you lose, then if you have an LLC, I can only go after the assets that your business owns. If you don't have an LLC or a corporation and then it's just like all you just doing business by yourself and I sue you and you lose, then I can just come after your house, your car, whatever the case may be. You don't want that. You want to protect yourself because that's what these things were created to do. So be mindful of liability in that way. But I also, doing my research, I read a story about a entity that they were in some litigation, had lawsuit. They won the lawsuit. They won millions of dollars, but unfortunately, they could not receive the money because the defendant in the matter said that, hey, they're not even registered. So they lost. They didn't receive the money. The state said, no, you're not registered. You haven't complied with us, so you don't get to win this lawsuit. I didn't fact check that, but I did do my research, and that's what the lawsuit said. So, and it makes perfect sense, if they say like, hey, if you are registered with the state, you have liability protection, you're good on our behalf. So we're only going to allow somebody to, get this or be able to touch these assets from you if you can't pay the lawsuit or whatever the case may be. They can also do the opposite. Like somebody can argue like, hey, wait a minute, they're not even a real business, so why do I have to pay this out to them? That doesn't make any sense. So just be mindful that a part of your duties to your company is to make sure that you stay up to date with all of your business registrations, licensures, all of your tax requirements. And a lot of times, if it's something that you can't pay right now, just call the state and talk to them and let them update your account. Or, lots of times these agencies, they will work with you as long as you agree to pay them. So to conclude this video, I just wanted to talk to you all and just discuss the importance of paying your annual registration. I understand that when you are a new business owner, sometimes having that extra fee is a lot. It could be very heavy, and you may think like, oh, I'm not paying this to the state, I'm just gonna brush this to the side. But trust me, don't brush it to the side, because you never know when staying up to date on your business requirements is going to be your best friend. And you never know when it's going to come back to haunt you. Like I said, people can just look up your business and see if it's active or not. So you want to make sure that before anyone even has a chance to, say something negative about your business or think that you are not being honest or that your integrity is lacking from this one thing, you want to make sure that you cross all your T's, you dotted all your I's, and that this is just one of the things that you need to make sure that you handle every year. You know that you have this fee every year. The state publishes all of these fees. So provision and put the money that you need for this to the side so that it's there. And you don't have to worry about that. So if you need to show that your business is in good standing for financing, grants, partnerships, whatever the case may be, that you have that. So thank you for tuning into this video. Please subscribe so you can see more videos and tips that I will have coming out in the coming weeks. If you are interested in any consulting or you need a tax consultation, as we are getting closer and closer to tax season once again, please click the link in the description bar below. Thank you and have a good one.